Good evening, everyone. How are we doing?
Good, thank you.
So we're going to talk a little bit about sales and marketing. So I got a question. Who here has ever been to the circus? You guys like the circus?
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about sales and marketing. And Becky can relate to this one because she was in advertising, okay? So imagine a circus is coming to town, right? And you see it in the paper or in your magazines or on the internet. And it says the circus is coming to town. I don't think Ringling Brothers is a circus anymore, but one of those circuses is still coming to town. They come every year and they play at the Hoffman Estates Arena out there. What's that one called?
Barnum and Bailey.
What's that?
Barnum and Bailey.
No, Barnum and Bailey Circus. Anyway, the circus is coming to town, and you see a bunch of ads, and that's called advertising, right? The circus will take out ads in a newspaper. Maybe they'll have a radio spot. Maybe they have a television spot. That's advertising, right? Imagine now that the circus is in your neighborhood and you see a bunch of elephants marching down the street and they have big shawls over their body and it says the circus is coming to town and the elephants are just marching, right? What's that called when that happens?
Parade.
That's called a promotion, right? So that when you have advertising, you got TV, radio, papers, those are advertising, right? You got promotion when you make a big deal and have a parade that the circus comes to town, right? Now imagine that elephant just wanders off the parade path and goes into the mayor's house and starts trampling all over the bushes and starts kicking up stuff and everything like that. And there's a big news story about that. What's that called? It's called publicity, right?
Publicity.
Publicity, right? You know what I'm saying? All right, and then the circus feels real bad about this, and they promise to fix the mayor's property, and then they also put out an advertisement to say, you know, we're going to raise money to fix the properties of anything else the elephant might have done. What's that called? That's called public service, right?
Public service.
Right, and then you go to get tickets from the circus, and you get there, and there's vendors, and they're selling Kit Kats and popcorn and cotton candy and sodas and stuff like that. What's that?
Revenue.
That's sales, right? So you see the difference? There's a difference between advertising. There's a difference between promotion. There's a difference between publicity. There's a difference between customer public service. A difference between sales, right? All of that pretty much encompasses sales and marketing, though, right? Trying to get a message out. So there is a slight difference between sales and marketing with what we do, right? But what is the difference? Right? The sales process is everything you do with a potential client to help them come to a purchase decision and get a signed contract or paperwork. That's sales, right? To make the decision, to have a transaction, right? We talked about this earlier, Becky. A voluntary transaction where two people agree to different terms, and that's the sales process. Marketing is everything you do to ensure the continual flow of new prospects or potential clients and prepare them for the sales process. So marketing could include publicity, could include advertising, right? Could include promotions, could include public awareness, public service. All that stuff could be marketing, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so what are we doing here in World Financial Group? We have a marketing program and we have a sales program, right? And so which one do you want to excel at?
Whatever I'm good at.
Whatever you're good at, whatever one that makes the money, right? So if you are a marketing person in our company, right, you might be the recruiting person, right? You might be the person sending out in a campaign manager all the different emails and stuff out there. Or you might have flyers printed up. Or you might be promoting the big event, right? Telling everybody that you need to come see Jeff Levitan when he's in town, or Greg Kapp, or last time when Eric Olson, right? We're promoting that event, right? I haven't heard anybody in the radio talk about WFG, but that could be publicity, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so whatever you're doing to market this opportunity, that's all marketing, right? And sales is when you're sitting down and you're writing up the paperwork, right? So what you want to do is you want to have 4 keys to building a successful business. Find a plan that works. Find examples of success and study what they have done to succeed. Imitate successful strategies, right? We talk about being a copycat in this business, right? Where they say it's okay to be a copycat.
As long as you copy the right cat.
As long as you're copying the right cat. Catalina always smiles when she hears the word. It says do it over and over again. Develop a written game plan. Read and write an affirmation statement twice daily. So what does it mean to do it over and over again?
Duplication.
Right? So when you try a new thing, right? Let's say that you just discovered the campaign manager. I hope you didn't just discover it, right? But you're gonna use that campaign manager, and you're gonna send an email out, and you're gonna send it out for 1 month, 4 times, once every week for that month, and nobody responds. Are you just gonna stop?
Keep doing it.
No, you're gonna keep doing it, right? So you were in advertisements, right? Was it television ads, or what kind of ads were
Everything.
everything?
TV, radio.
So how long do people usually take out an ad spot for? Is it just like for 1 month at a time, or is it for a length of time that they do it?
It's a long period of time.
Usually they do it for 6 months at a time or a year at a time, right? So the same thing with our sales process, right? So we have BPMs all the time, and aren't we always promoting our BPMs? Are we always inviting? Are we always trying to recruit? Always talking about this? It's over and over and over again, right? And we can't just say, well, this didn't work. Or if you go out there and you prospect people, and you might go talk to 3 people at the store. Maybe you went to Jewel and you talked to the cashier, and then you went to the gas station and you talked to the person, the teller at the gas station. And all 3 of those people, they said no to you. Are you just going to stop doing that? No,
No.
you're going to keep doing it over and over again, right? But you got to have a plan. You have to have a written game plan, and you have to write that down and read it twice daily, right? This is going to work. This is my new thing that I'm going to do for this sales process to work. Lead by example. A united strategy builds momentum. Develop a team identity and tradition, right? Isn't this a great example of team identity?
Mm-hmm.
Let's build the dream, right? The force has got logos. Have you guys got logos for your teams? Have you got team names? Have you got this? If you don't have it on paper, or if you don't have it like designed, have you got it in your head? You know what your
Yes.
team name's going to be?
Yes, I
Yes.
do.
I know there's people in here that don't like my team name, but you know,
Yeah, you have to
you can be my exchange leg if you don't want to be on my team. But Team Invictus, when we can become a senior marketing director, right? But so see how this thing right here, this infinity symbol. So that's actually part of Jeff Levitan's legacy, right? And so Frank has incorporated that into his symbol, right? So Invictus is going to have Invictus. I'm going to use this as the V for Invictus. It's going to be a green banner. It's going to be really cool.
It's nice.
So have you guys done that for your team? Have you developed your identity, right? Are you leading by example? Doesn't Frank always say that we're going to be the #1 team here in the Midwest,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we have to have that tradition of winning. We have to think big, be a visionary, build a team big enough to have a big client base, right? So if you're a leader of your organization, you have to be able to be a visionary. You have to dream and think big, right? Don't we have to have a vision big enough so everybody that we recruit, their dream can fit inside our own,
Mm-hmm.
right? So are you dreaming big enough? If you're thinking, I want 10 recruits this month, are you actually really thinking about 20? Are you thinking, I want to get 25 and then getting 10? Or are you saying, I want 10 and you're just going to settle for 3? Right? I loved the other night when Frank asked us all of our visions, and my team stepped up and they said, we're going to have 11 recruits, we're going to have 21,000 points. That's a pretty good month.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really big month. And if we get half of that, that's still going to be a better month than we've had in a long time. But we got to think big. You think big, it's like shooting for the stars. You maybe hit the moon. You shoot for the mud and make it. Which one do you want to do? WFG is a powerful business model. By employing a combination of 3 successful marketing strategies, WFG has created a highly innovative business hybrid. Retail marketing, I'll just get them all, direct marketing, and relationship marketing, right? So retail marketing, what's retail marketing?
Right? They can go to a specific location to do
They go to a specific location to do business, right? You guys been to a mall recently?
Yeah.
Some malls are starting to not be as popular anymore.
Yeah.
Stores are closing, people are getting unemployed. It's not too common to go to their store anymore to get stuff. What's happening, right? Technology has changed. And Amazon has taken over the world, right? So you pretty much you can buy everything on Amazon. But retail marketing is there's still a function for that. So my wife tells me that she doesn't like ordering things from Amazon, and I said, why not? It's so super easy. You can just have it brought to your house. She said she wants to go to the store, she wants to look at it, she wants to try it on, see what it likes it, match your clothing. And I get that. Some people are like that, right? There's still a desire for that physical location, right? Direct marketing. Business people contact prospective clients they don't know via email, phone, mail, etc. So you guys ever get those things in the mail? We call it junk mail, where you get one of those value packs and it's got coupons for 100 different stores in your neighborhood. right? And so that they'll send out things like that all the time, right? Or if you are getting emails all the time, right? You gotta click here to unsubscribe if you don't want that kind of stuff, right? You get email all the time. Or maybe people are calling you up. You know, there's still people calling me up on my cell phone and they're trying to sell me stuff, and I'm like, I'm not interested. I'm always winning one of those vacation packages, or like, oh yeah, you won one of these.
This
Or,
is
you gotta
Elizabeth.
do that, right? And so that's direct marketing. Now, relationship marketing relies primarily on a warm market approach and a word of mouth, right? So relationship marketing is really just, hey, you know, I'm going to tell you about what I'm doing. Right? Everybody relationship markets, right? When you're excited about something you purchased at Bonji, you're going to show everybody, right? Hey, check out this new blue suit I got, right?
Mhm.
We're building relationships, right? And so they're using you to sell their product because you know people and you're going to look fly in your new suit, and they're relying on you to do that, right? But here at WFG, we use all three of them, right? We have a location. I think this really separates us from a lot of other companies out there. Some of your home-based businesses out there, some of your other traditional multi-level marketing companies, where they always go to a hotel, right? They don't really have a location on hand. Or maybe they have somebody hosting a party at their house. Like my mom used to do Tupperware parties, right? You remember those? Well, I have a friend who used to sell candles, and she'd invite everyone over to her house and check out these new candles, right? But having this office like this, people say, wow, this is a legitimate thing. This is a beautiful office, it's a place to do business, and people come in here and they say, wow, I actually can see that this is a functioning, real company, right? And just having a name on a door is a good thing. You know that in Rockford, I can think of a couple of examples of just having a sign on the road that says Transamerica. People have literally walked into that office and done business. Francisco Anderson was actually brought back into the company because of that. There was a World Financial Group office there. He used to work with our company a long time ago. He stopped for several years. Then he saw the building again, walked in, and joined the company just because of the sign out there. Right? He also told a story about how somebody actually had a death in their family, and they had a Transamerica policy. And the guy walked into Francisco's office and said, "Can you help me out? My family member just passed away," and was actually able to not only help the family member, but made a pretty significant sale too doing that. And so having a direct the retail marketing, the place of business, is really good. If you've been here during the day, and you're not just like futzing around, and you're actually working, you notice that there's people walking in here. Sometimes people come into the office here, they might be salesmen or something, and they walk in. Laura, you were here when somebody walked in, right? How did that go anyway? Did anything ever come of that?
No.
Okay, well, people do walk into this place, whether they be salesmen or whether they find our name and our address somewhere. And if you're here, then you can partake in either trying to recruit them or maybe finding a client or something like that. Right? How do we do direct marketing here? What are some of the things we do for direct marketing?
Phone calls.
Phone calls, right? That's the majority of our direct marketing, right?
Mhm.
So, campaign manager. How many people are using campaign manager?
I'm still
Did you guys see
working
the
on
new
it.
stuff that they put out for the month of November?
Yeah.
So it's got some pretty cool stuff. Social media, so you can put it on your LinkedIn, you can put it on your Twitter. If you guys use that, if you guys have your email going out, I send an email out every Monday. Sometimes I do it on Monday and Friday, but definitely every Monday. And then we use LinkedIn, we use Twitter. All that stuff is already pre-written, by the way. Pre-approved through compliance. You just got to use it, right? And you have to keep doing it over and over, Becky. Right? It might not be that somebody's going to respond right away. It could take months. But eventually, if you send it out enough people, there's going to be a time when that person said, "Oh yeah, Becky, I remember she keeps sending me those emails every week. Now I really need her to help me out with this thing," right? And so it's a marketing campaign. And then of course, relationship marketing, right? How do we have relationship marketing here?
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth.
Market.
Who do you know,
Mhm.
right? So don't we talk to everybody? In the BPM, Frank talked about his 4 brothers and sisters and his cousins, and in his apartment complex, how everybody needed help, right? Are we making relationships with those kind of people? Talking to them? Opening your mouth? All right, I don't know what this is. All right. WFG Business Format System. Did that come up right? Okay. The BFS is our proven step-by-step marketing, recruiting, and business building blueprint to help grow your business. It consists of 6 steps and 8 filters. The rapid, relentless repetition, that's like a tongue twister, rapid, relentless repetition of these 6 simple recruiting steps. Say that 3 times real fast, Martha. Can lead to the building of a big business with many distribution outlets. What's a distribution outlet?
A store. Or
Share
Each
license.
person.
In our company, an outlet is a licensed producing agent, right? An associate. And so what we want to have is we want a repetition of the 6 steps and recruit them to lead to the building of a big business with many distribution outlets. Jeff Levitt handles over 600 offices, right? In every one of those offices, he has many licensed people. What was it Mike Wilson said? He's got 15,000 licensed people. Imagine having a business with 15,000 licensed agents going out there and doing stuff. That would be pretty cool, right? You'd be
Yeah.
big time there, wouldn't you?
$7.5 million worth.
There you go. So 6 steps. You guys all know the 6 steps, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you read them backwards and forwards and inside out, right? All right.
Spell them too.
You guys have tested on them in EPC, that kind of stuff? You know what they are?
A little extra mile.
All right. Well, what we're going to talk about is the WFG business system. What a business system looks something like this. I know I've taught this before, but prior to WFG, I was a heating and air conditioning technician, right? My job was to fix your furnace or fix your air conditioning, sometimes on the roof of your building or sometimes in your basement. But when I actually would go to a house, I'd always have to figure out what was wrong. Were they too hot or were they too cold? What was their major complaint and reason for me coming to their house? And it was my job to figure out how that system operated. Right? If it was a furnace and they had no heat in the winter, I'd actually have to run that entire cycle. So what's the first step? When you're cold in your house, what's the first thing you usually put on to turn the heat up? Thermostat, right? So that's where I start. So I knew if someone's thermostat wasn't working, maybe they had a battery operated one and there was nothing on the screen, it was blank. Well, that's the first step, right? That didn't work. If the thermostat turned on and I put the little heat on and then I went downstairs and saw the furnace and I noticed that, hey, there was a little ignition or there was some kind of pilot light and that had to be lit or that had to light up. And if it didn't do that, well, I know that's what the step I had to work on, right? And then after that, the gas valve would open up and the heat would shoot out and everything else would follow a system, right? And so when you understand as a mechanic what is happening with the system, from start to finish, how that process works, all you need to do is figure out, okay, what is the last one that hasn't functioned, and check the thing right before that to see if it worked or not. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The gas valve doesn't come on, but everything else works up to that point. What does that tell me?
That is.
Probably the gas valve has gotten something wrong with it, right? Well, that's how this thing is right here. This is your system, right? Starts with you, a prospect list, contact, presentation, new associate, F&A. And so if you're not getting enough prospects, well, that means there's something wrong with you. You got to go out there and prospect, right? If you're not making enough contacts, maybe there's something wrong with the prospects you're developing, right? If you don't have people coming to your presentation, maybe you're not contacting them correctly, right? And so if you don't have enough recruits, maybe the presentation, you don't have enough people seeing the presentation. And so it's a system. And if you want to know what's wrong with your business, what part is lacking, right? Look at the previous steps before that, see if they're actually functioning properly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's how you have a system. WFG's challenge is to increase your will to win, develop a passion for our mission, understand and execute your commitments. All right, we're going to talk about prospecting. Prospecting is the process of identifying qualified people to call on who may potentially become associates or clients. Just as a retail store, you must have tangible inventory in your WFG business. You must always have a solid inventory of prospects. You guys ever been to a grocery store and you want to buy a certain kind of cereal, but there's just not that cereal? There's no special K on the shelf, and you're like, oh man, what the heck? Right? Would you go back to that store again if, the second time you went back, they still didn't have special K? If you really love that special K, would you probably go back to that, right? A business might be failing to get your money if they're not putting the products on the shelf that you really want, right? Or if you go to, I've been to a gas station, there's literally nothing on the shelves. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? I want a snack, right? There's nothing on the shelves. They probably are hurting in business, right? They don't have anything on the shelf. They don't have an inventory. Well, here in World Financial Group, people are an inventory, right? Do you guys have enough people, and not in the shelves, but you have enough people in your pipeline,
Not yet.
right? You have a top 25 inventory list of the people that are gonna be potential associates or potential clients, right? And so, as business owners, if we don't have inventory, we're not gonna have business very long, right? This is the people business. And so all that stuff that we learn about insurance and annuities and mutual funds, that's not our inventory. Those things can sit in the shelves and get dusty all the time, but if we don't have people actually purchasing those things or people to present them to, they're not doing anything, right? So our inventory is people, right? We must always have a solid inventory of prospects. So where do we actually get prospects from? The first one is our natural market, right? Our friends, our neighbors, our brothers and sisters, co-workers, social contacts, and business contacts. How many of you guys have cell phones here? All right. Miriam, you have your cell phone with you? Do me a favor. You have it in your hand right now? How many contacts do you have in your phone? Just tell me the number of contacts you have in your phone right now.
Where do I find them?
All the way at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, you want to go to the list and tell me how many contacts you have.
350.
350.
That's
Okay.
what it says.
That's a lot of contacts in the phone, right? Anybody have more than 350 contacts in their phone? How many do you have, Carolina?
1,336.
1,000, how many?
336.
Wow.
Girl, you have more recruits.
Thank you, Frank, that's where it's going.
Uh-huh.
So let me ask a question. You have 350 on your phone. You have 1,300 on your phone. Have you called every single one of those contacts on your phone?
No, but today I went ahead and I did a whole list of some of in the phone.
So you called some of them.
No, I haven't called, but I made the list.
Okay, so you made a list. So at least you took them from your phone to a list. So you're looking at your inventory, right? You're gathering up your inventory. You know that I'm lacking supplies. I gotta build this inventory list. Okay, that's a good thing that business people do. Catalina, have you called all 1,300 people on your phone?
Not everybody's here. Some are in Mexico, some in Texas, and elsewhere.
Okay.
But I reached out to a lot of them.
So you know that you have an inventory that you have to work on, right? I remember when I was in a filter company, we
Did
had
you
to.
say you reached out to a lot of them
I have.
out of 1,300?
Not all 1,300.
Define a lot.
So 1,300, and
When
I'm
I-
sure.
When I think of a lot, that means the majority.
Well, it's not here a lot.
Anybody have less than 350 on their phone? How many do you have?
197.
Okay, 190. Have you called all 197 people on your phone?
Not today.
Okay, but have you ever since you've been in the business? Okay,
This is
so this is your natural market, right?
116.
So you want people to talk to.
Very
You got
good.
300. You got 350. You got 1,300. You got 197. I'm not going to ask everybody what they have, but that's a good place to start, right?
Martha, I give you an excuse. All the ones in your phone that are in Poland, you don't have to call.
It's only
All the
three.
ones in Mexico on your phone, you don't have to call.
It's only 3.
Miriam, all the ones in your phone in Belize, you don't have to call.
All right, let's do some
All the
real.
rest of them, you gotta call.
Let's do some really, really interesting and simple math here, okay? So we can all agree we have at least, at the very least, 100, right? The lowest I've heard so far is 197. But let's suppose that you were just not too popular, but you had at least 100 people on your phone, right? So where do you start? You start calling 100 people, right?
Yeah.
Now all those 100 people, they have to have at least a cell phone to call, right? So think about all those 100 people that they have. They all probably also have cell phones, right? So if 100 people on your phone list also all have cell phones, how many people who have cell phones also probably have 100 people on their cell phone?
Ooh. Yeah.
So how many is 100 times 100?
1,000.
10,000. So have you called 10,000 people yet in the business?
Mm-mm.
All 100 of your people and asked them about the 100 people on their phone? And let's just take this to one more extreme. 10,000 people that you've contacted just through the first generation, right? The people who are on your phone and all the people on their phone. All those 10,000 people probably have cell phones nowadays, right? You think all of them have about 100 people on their phone?
Yeah.
What's 10,000 times 100?
A
Million.
million? I
A
don't know.
million.
Mhm.
How many millions of people live in Illinois?
6.
More than 6.
Yes.
Closer to
6.
13, right?
What?
But we're already talking about within 3 phone calls, you have access to 1 million people, right? They call this 6 degrees of separation, right? We're 6 people from no one, everyone on the planet. My question is not how many people are on the planet, but how many people do you actually have on your phone that you've called or asked them and told them about what we're doing. 10,000 is a good number to work with. I'm not even talking about 1 million. 10,000 is a good number to work with, right? Heck, 197 is a good number to work with, right? So this is how you start developing your market. You have your natural market, and of course, friendship farming, right? Friendship borrowing. I kind of alluded to that when I talked about the 10,000 people, right? The 100 people that are on your phone, who do they know? Who have kids? Who are married? Who own houses? Who have jobs? Who are dissatisfied, right? All that stuff. That's your market right there. And then of course, all those people that you don't know, or maybe you're going out to the gas station, you're going to the Jewel, and you're asking them, why don't you have Special K when you're talking to the clerk, right? And the clerk will give you, I don't know why I don't have Special K. Okay, well, do you really like your job, or, you know? I'm getting a little ridiculous here, but but you know what I'm saying? You can turn a friendship friend, transform strangers into friends, okay? You're gonna see dozens and dozens of people throughout the course of your day, right? You're getting gas, you're going to the store, you're going out to eat, you're going on an errand, you're doing whatever, right? There's people everywhere, right? Are we actually talking to them? Are we excited? Are we saying, hey, you know, this is a company that helps people save money and get out of debt and plan for retirement and gives them an opportunity for, if they hate their job, you know, you can actually own your own business. Are we talking to those people? Of course, the last one is professional prospecting. Who's ever done professional prospecting? Didn't Mike Wilson teach a little bit about that? Oh, some of you guys weren't in EPC, so I apologize. I'm not supposed to say what he taught us in EPC. But professional prospecting, didn't he talk about that?
Mm-hmm.
What does professional prospecting mean?
Legal process of doctors, real estate agents, CPAs, people who have the profession.
Yeah, exactly. And who are the professionals that work with us very nice, who align with us very nicely? CPAs, accountants, right? Mortgage specialists, P&C insurance people, right? And so, anyone here part of a Chamber of Commerce? You know, if you're not part of the Chamber of Commerce, you can actually go onto the Chamber of Commerce in your town and look it up on the website, right? Whatever town you look in, you look up the Chamber of Commerce. And you know that they will usually give you a directory, and they give you a directory from A to Z of all the businesses in your town. Depending on the size of your town, you probably have at least 1,000 businesses in that town, right? Have you guys made an introduction to all those people? You live in Des Plaines, right? How many accountants do you think are working in the city of Des Plaines? A lot, right? Okay. Have you made any introduction to any of the accountants that work in Des Plaines? How many people do you think are mortgage specialists in Des Plaines? More than accountants, right? Do we have any P&C specialists? Right? Do we have any estate planning attorneys?
I get it, Mike.
Make your point.
Have you made an introduction, given them your business card? You don't have to give them a BPM. Just say, hey, I'm Becky. I'm in a neighborhood. I'm in financial services. I'd love to be able to chat with you and learn about your business sometime. Maybe we can help each other at some point. Right? Make an introduction. Go to your directory, your Chamber of Commerce. Find out all the different businesses out there. I know you guys have ordered cards, right? You guys all have your WFG cards?
I need to order a new one.
Take your card, maybe take a nice flyer or something like that, right? Some of that direct mail-in material we'll talk about. Give them something about our company, give them your card and say, hey, I want to introduce myself. See what happens. You know? We can talk about how you make that conversation go later, but at least make that introduction. Natural market, right? It talks about ad names, don't eliminate them. I know Marta has a stack about that big of all her top 25 lists from since she's been in the company, right?
Only if I have someday some kind of courage.
Well, courage happens. Wait, what do we learn at EPC? What about knowledge and action and all that stuff, right? You have fear. What happens with fear? What do you do with fear?
Cure
Keep
with
it going.
action.
Right. So the only time I've ever eliminated anybody from my list is when they've said some kind of bad word to me. You know, if they say a bad word to you, then you can say, I'm not going to call them any back for fear that they might say that bad word again. But that's the only time that you ever eliminate them, right? You always want to add names, right? If you don't know how to complete your prospect list, right? We've all done this. We've all been fast started properly here, right? We've done a 100 names list at least. I've already talked about all that in your phone, right? What about that thing that's in the BFS manual that nobody ever reads?
That thing in the BFS manual.
That memory jogger. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I use that.
You guys use the memory jogger?
I do.
That mailman? You ever get the mailman's name?
Who do you know with a beard?
Right?
Who do you know with an accent?